The match starting with a free kick out of the centre square. And it's going to the Sydney Swans, to Kelly. Sydney in the first quarter going to the left of the screen. No wind advantage here at the SCG. We had a light shower earlier, sure. But the surface could be a little bit slippery, although in the reserves game here tonight, they did kick plenty of goals, and scoring was done at both ends of the ground. Picked up by Thripp. Thripp kicks back towards half forward, the mark taken by Saunders. The transfers play into the commentary box side of the ground. Mark taken by Francis at the right half-back flank. Swans have the numbers on centre wing. Gareth John up high, late inclusion in the side tonight. Tunbridge unable to take his place in the team, so John will be very keen to give a good performance here tonight. As well, we have the chance. Bernie, your selection.
Oh, it has to be Collingwood, I think, Peter. 8 in a row losses to the Sydney Swans, and their form hasn't been very good, although a little bit more competitive last week. Against Fitzroy up here a couple of weeks ago, they were pathetic. And Collingwood with all the incentive.
Francis kicks down towards right half forward. Ball there to be won, and an important ball too. And the umpire's found a free kick. Might be for a push in the back. It's going to Collingwood. And it will be taken by Brad Rowe, formerly of the Brisbane Bears. And Gerard, your selection.
Well, you'd have to go with Collingwood, as Bernie said. Been very impressive. The Swans disappointed.
So Rowe with a chance to bring up the first score of the night. As I mentioned, no breeze advantage to either end. And the crowd still streaming in here. Rocker making a lead, certainly given the Pies a target up forward. That's a shocking kick by the former Brisbane Bears player, out of bounds on the foot.
Yeah, it's not the percentage kick there from Brad Rowe. Maybe a centering kick to the goal face, giving the young bloke Severio Rocker a chance to go for the big mark.
Lewis kicks the Swans back into attack. Kelly went up, couldn't take it, however. Brunton does well with the handball. That'll be forced over the boundary line. Ben Doolan in to shoot. It was against the Collingwood side in round 4, I think it was, that he lost his teeth. So perhaps he's got something to prove to the Pies. Doolan coming through now with the left-hand handball. Tony Shaw to Krasiska. Krasiska, a poor kick, goes to the centre of the ground. But luckily, it's marked there in the middle.
50 metres. I was just about to say, Gerard, he was lucky enough to get 50 there, and the umpire, albeit belatedly, decided to play it.
Yes, well, it was a little bit late. Technically correct, but a bit harsh, I think, under those circumstances.
Well, it was late, and as we saw there, I think the umpire took into consideration that Thripp didn't look at the ball at all. He only looked at Troy Lehman and really attacked his body.
Well, from 20 metres out directly in front, Troy Lehman to put Collingwood's first major on the ball. He's pushed it wide, however, and only a behind. So Collingwood do get the first score. One behind, the Swans yet to register.
They'd be very disappointed with that. So 2 direct shots at goal by the Pies have resulted in only 1 behind. The earlier one coming, of course, from Brad Rowe. So Mark Bayes to kick in. The job on Kernahan in the recent State of Origin game. I know Kernahan kicked quite a few goals. He did a fairly good job, I thought. Nick McGuan has picked up a bundle of kicks this year. And I know Bernie likes him for the Brownlow. Starcevic from a standing start, a long shot at goal, and that's out of bounds on the full. So the Magpies with all the opportunities at scoring in the opening minutes, and they've registered only 1 behind. Bayes again hugs the boundary line with the kick. 1-on-1 contest. Monkhurst knocks the ball down, picked up by Mitchell. Mitchell's kick badly directed. McGuan, good hand pass. Morwood up towards the 50-metre line. Going in solidly was Dunkley and Francis. They look for a hand pass. He's almost caught. The ball spills free, and the Swans will be able to clear it. Higgins, hand pass, which is intercepted by Tony Shaw and then taken by Krasiska, touched off the boot. Lehman, he's got a chance to make amends here. Tries to find Morwood, did so. He gets cannoned into a play on call from the umpire. Again, Mitchell looking for options. Can't find too many. A quick kick up towards the centre wing position. And again, the Magpies come forward. And the Swans' defence under plenty of pressure early in the game. Dunkley with Dacos, and the champ has taken it out of bounds. We'll see a boundary throw in Collingwood's left forward pocket. And Peter Dacos, congratulations to him, because he became a dad today.
Yes, 9 a.m. this morning, Peter, and I don't think he would have had much sleep last night.
Well, you know all about that, Bernie. Rocker Taps the ball. Oh, gee, Tony Shaw. The boot went in. He was aiming at the ball. And Dunkley, not too many options open for him. And the ball was rushed over from one behind. So Collingwood leading by 2 points.
Should be a good battle between Tony Shaw and Barry Mitchell. They've had some interesting tussles over the years. Mitchell, of course, one of the highest possession getters in the AFL. Bayes goes long. Wasn't a great kick, however. Angove spilt what he should have taken. Thrift with the silks on, gives it to the left-footed Higgins, and Higgins drives it long for Sydney. Minton Connell takes the back spot, quick punch away from Pert. Gafer on now to Strooper, a fine acquisition for the Sydney Swans. Really can't do much with it. It's Graham Wright. He's in pursuit. It comes off Dennis Carroll's foot over the boundary line for a throw-in on Sydney's half-forward flank.
I think Minton Connell will be in for a tough night. Gary Pert has picked him up, and Gavin Krasiska is picking up David Strooper.
Monkhurst wins the tap. Hits it to their offensive side, and Francis gets a quick kick to the ball, but gets collected. Straight out in the full.
Okay.
And a free kick to Sydney.
Barry Mitchell kicks inside 50. Krasiska knocks the ball down. Brunton, long hand pass. Angove from just on 50. Swans' first score coming up, and the ball has gone through from behind. Kick by Angove. So 2 points to 1 point. Early in the first quarter, Gary Pert. Mark taken by Wright. Kick to centre wing. Ball thumped away by Mooney, one of the newcomers in the Sydney lineup, and it beats Russell over the boundary line, who was perhaps their best player against Brisbane last week. Bernie and I saw that game, played a particularly good match after half-time, and Damien Monkhurst has got the free kick being held.
That should be a good contest too, Pete. Damien Monkhurst in very good form in the ruck up against Gareth John.
Well, John got something to prove, hasn't he? He was an emergency tonight. And with Tunbridge out, he's got his opportunity. He'll be very keen to take it by the scruff of the neck. Boundary throw-in, 65 metres from Collingwood's goal. No goals on the board yet. Umpires have done most of the attacking. Monkhurst and John. And this time it's going to be John getting the free kick.
No, Pete. Has to go to Monkhurst. He was interfered with.
That's what I thought, but the umpire ran the other way. Marking contest. 15 metres out from goal. Mooney gets shoved in the back by Morwood. And the Sydney defence able to tie it up about 25 metres out from the Collingwood goal. We'll see a bounce.
Well, as you said earlier, Gerard, the Sydney fans would want a committed effort from the Sydney Swans. A couple of weeks ago, they really put in a shocker against Fitzroy. Weren't even competitive. And as you say, the fans come up here and they want at least a good competitive tussle from their team.
Tap out by Starcevic. Bayes knocks it forward. Holmes once again over the... putting it in Sydney's direction, but Morwood, who was named on interchange bench, swings it round the back, comes off rockers, and Bayes' hands
hit the post
hit the post for behind. Dale Lewis, I notice, is picking up Peter Dacos, a surprise move from Buckenara. Mark Bayes puts Sydney back into attack with a driving left foot kick. And a fine mark there, taken by Troy Gray. He also was named on interchange. As we know, coaches like to throw their sides around. Gareth John, the front spot. Good punch there from behind. Mickey McGuan gets his first kick for the night on the round on the left. Looking for Starcevic. Does he beat the boundary line? He does.
Craig Starcevic, long way from goal because of the wide wings here at the SCG. Dunkley in front and marks before Peter Dacos can get there. Short kick goes across the goal, finds Bayes, arguably the best kick in the side with that trusty left foot. He goes long, kicks inside 50. Minton Connell on a lead and marks. He's got plenty of the ball this year, Gerard, but his kicking has let him down, hasn't it?
Yes, he has been astray a couple of times, but that was good play from Bayes, and that's the way to play this ground, straight down the centre corridor.
Simon Minton Connell, formerly of Carlton, kicks right on 50. Distance shouldn't be a problem. Neither is accuracy. First goal of the night.
So the Sydney Swans lead. 2 kicks from the back line of goal. That's the way to go. Tony Shaw gets it out of the middle. Mooney to Higgins. Off the ground now. Gareth John spills it, but Tripp goes off the ground. Once again, 2 swipes out of the air. Good play there from Gray. Gets a quick hand to Engove. He couldn't take it. A little bit sharp. Nice handball. Puts Carroll into space. He just throws it on the boot. A poor kick into the forward line. It goes very high. Midden Connell knocked off it by Pert. And he drives Collingwood into attack.
Jerry Pert, one of the stalwarts of the Magpie defence, coming from Fitzroy at the start of the year in that complicated deal. That could have been in the back. Collingwood supporters certainly looking for a free kick. Umpires played it. And the veteran, Shane Morwood, to take the kick. Approaching his 200th game. Morwood kicks to half forward. No mark taken. Lehman. The ball good quickly there. Starcevic unmarked. Takes the mark and well within kicking distance. Player on his own in front of goal. He's decided to go back for the kick.
Well, it was a clever kick there from Troy Lehman. He threw it on the outside of his boot to the unmanned player, and that was Craig Starcevic.
Distance won't be a problem. Accuracy maybe. One behind. Gee, they've missed some sitters, haven't they?
Well, it's a poor attempt there from Craig Starcevic. He has played a number of games in the centre half-back position since Craig Kelly was injured. Jason McCartney has been preferred at centre half-back tonight, and Starcevic up on the forward line.
Yeah, good kick by Bayes. Well, covered plenty of distance, but it's straight back in the arms of Shane Morwood. So from a team point of view, it wasn't a good result. Although lengthwise, a good kick. Kicks inside 50. On a lead was Rocker. Couldn't take the mark. Thrip. Was he held? He bounced the ball. So play on from the umpire. Good decision. Higgins off the ground. Still inside the centre square. And coming through like a steam train is McCartney. Down towards centre half forward. Oh, Morwood again. Mark, free kick. Take your pick.
Terrific play from the young bloke, centre half back there, McCartney, 18 years of age, and just charged through.
Russell, the row, surely won't miss this one. He doesn't. Collingwood's first goal. But Brad Rowe making amends for a shocker earlier, and Collingwood hits the front, leading by 3 points.
Yes, as I said, Peter, great stuff from Jason McCartney, playing in only his 5th game, his 3rd game for 1992. Preferred at centre half back. We see the replay there of Shane Morwood. He's copying a very late tackle there over the top, and Brad Rowe, the former Brisbane Bears player, running into an open goal.
It's like Victoria Park, Collingwood supporters everywhere.
It was very impressive play, as you say, by McCartney, Bernie.
Yes, he looks. I know Graham Allen's very impressed with him. He really wrapped him up. I ran into him at the airport today, and he really had big raps on him.
Monkhurst wins the tap from the centre of the ground. Lehman with the ball, but he's tackled well by Doolan. Ball in dispute now. Won well by Graham Wright. He gets a quick kick to centre half forward for the Pies. Mark couldn't be taken. Well played by McGuan. Gets it to Starcevic, who runs in and kicks their second.
Streaming into the SCG, 16 plays 7, and adventure to suggest most of them Collingwood supporters tonight. They've come from underneath logs and trees and everything else. Krasiska gets the hand pass out to the centre wing position. McGuan. And they go forward again. Gee, he's been at everything, this quarter, Shane Morwood. Not a great kick out of bounds, not on the full. Gavin Krasiska claiming it, but it wasn't a mark. 65 metres from goal. It'll be a boundary throw in under 13 minutes left of the first quarter. Monkhurst again taps down, trying to find Tony Shaw. Couldn't do so. Doolan with a quick hand pass. Higgins at left centre wing. Swans needing the quick reply. Saunders overruns it, and the ball kicked away by Richardson, and that's out of bounds. Richardson playing his 50th game tonight for the Magpies. So boundary throw in again. Sydney's left half forward flank. Taken away for them by Strooper. Kick inside 50. Minton Connell got underneath the ball, trying to charge his way through with Nettlebeck. And the Collingwood defenders were able to pin the ball to him, and so a bounce will take place. Great night for footy here at the SCG. Temperature around about the 15-degree mark. Collingwood 2-4 and Sydney 1-1. Carroll, great to see him back in the side. He's had an injury worrying season. Kickers by Engove down towards the forward pocket. Krasiska goes for the hand pass. Gaither almost worried out of it. Gee, was that an attempted trip on Minton Connell? The umpire says play on. Collingwood having the numbers, and the mark taken by that was McCartney in the back pocket. And they'll run it out again. Collingwood defence working the ball away. Right missed a hand pass that he certainly should have taken. Carroll hooks it back with a centering kick. No mark taken. Away goes Mitchell, one of the stalwarts of Sydney. Centering kick from him, looking for Minton Connell, and he's got the mark. Great play, Barry Mitchell.
Yeah, some good position there from Simon Minton Connell. He forced that kick from Barry Mitchell by heading down that centre corridor area. Minton Connell, Jared, he's been very good or very bad. He kicked 15 goals in 2 games. And what was it, 14 in the other 7 games. So 2 very good games, one against Hawthorn and one against the Adelaide Crows.
It's a great kick from Mitchell, though. He has been criticised for that factor.
He's kicked one already, Simon Minton Connell. From good football stock in Tasmania. He's got his second.
Simon Minton Connell, and Sydney will kick away again with a 50-metre, well, with the centre bounce infringement going to Gareth John. He kicks the ball. Krasiska at the front. Once again, Minton Connell. Doolan at the base of the pack. Kicks the ball into the forward line. Dropping back was McCartney, or Gayfer it was. This time McCartney kicks it off the ground and trickles over the boundary line.
They're looking very competitive, the Swans, at the moment, Jared.
Well, I know Buckenara likes the one-on-one situation. He's got a couple of tags. Higgins there on Russell. Brunton for McGuan. They can cover their strength in the middle, Collingwood. The Swans could be a chance. Carroll over the back of the pack, a big punch. The Pert allows it to trickle through for a behind. He'll have his worries now, Gary Pert. 2 quick goals being kicked on him. Looking for Gayfer, the human blanket as he's called at Collingwood.
Wasn't that a magnificent pass from Gary Pert? 55-metre pass.
Right, it's the second time he's fumbled this quarter. Struber did well on the mark. Good turnover over here by the Swans. Higgins with the left foot. Looking for Minton Connell again. Good punch by Pert. Richardson attacks the ball. But McCartney comes through like a steam train once again. Could have been a throw. Gayfer. Doolan in pursuit. Goes straight through the legs of Struber. And he has Richardson to apply the tackle. Once again, another possible throw. Dunkley. And here's Wright, the speedster for Collingwood.
Touched off the boot. Ball will be out of bounds on centre wing. So good pressure applied by Sydney. Although Collingwood working the ball around to the centre wing position. 9.25 minutes left in the first quarter. Good crowd here tonight. The Magpies packed them in last week at Carrara, probably the biggest crowd we've had there this year. And I venture to suggest one of the best here at the SCG. Already at 1992.
Sorry, Pete, already a change by Collingwood. Graham Wright off the ground, and he's been replaced by Mark Fraser.
Francis had it and then lost it. Might get a free kick, because when he did lose it, he was tackled. And you can hear the obvious disapproval of that decision from the Sydney Swans fans. Francis kicks into the forward pocket, and Rocker takes the mark. Collingwood fans looking for 50. I don't think they're going to get it.
No, no way.
So Severio Rocker.
Very solid build for a young fellow, Pete, hasn't he?
Yes, we were noticing the build of one of their ruckmen too in the reserves, Bernie Pascoe.
Pascoe, another big boy. 18
big
years
fella.
of age, Rocker. 192 centimetres and listed as 105 kilograms.
I'm suggesting that's a bit out. Kick-off target.
Well, sometimes those lists are a little bit worrying at times.
I think
the official stats.
They're printed at the start of the season. I don't think they changed them.
Although he does look very solid, Severio Rocker.
Kicked one behind, but he's given them something to aim for up forward. He's certainly built like Brian Taylor. And if he's as good as Brian up forward on his day, then he'll be okay. Monkhurst in a big pack of players. As we mentioned earlier, he's had a great season. Important ball to win this one. Out of the centre, it's socked away. Now a chance for Sydney. Kelly takes the hand pass at midfield, goes long, one-on-one duel down there. Pert at the back, gets back quickly. Ball was just a little bit too long for Minton Connell, and Pert's kick out towards the centre wing position. Again, Collingwood having the numbers. Francis, who's done well earlier in this match. A good turn of speed gets him out of trouble. Kicks up towards Dacos, who has the ball punched away from him. And a good job down there by Dale Lewis. Sees the ball over the boundary line. 45 metres from Collingwood's goal. Magpies have done most of the attacking in the first quarter. Morwood again, then Francis. Russell out on the full. Yes.
Well, he had very little chance of dragging that one around, didn't he, Scotty Russell? Maybe it would have been better to just run it over the boundary line.
So Dale Lewis will bring the Swans back into attack. A new experience for him playing on the master, Peter Dacos. Good left foot kick. Morwood drops back, couldn't take it, however. Starcevic does well, gets it to Monkhurst. Over the top he goes. A long handball now is ineffective as Kelly gets the ball onto Higgins. Handball. Gives it there to Dunkley, I think it was. Through comes Pert.
Free kick signals, right?
We'll go to Troy Gray. That, in fact, was Mooney that burst through on the left foot. Good play by the young player. Minton Connell gives the dummy lead. But Gray goes back as if he's going to kick this. He is a fine kick from Queanbeyan. Anne. Left footer just pushed it right. And Pert shepherds Minton Connell out of the business and allows it behind.
Well, he let you down there, Jared, didn't he, with that kick? He didn't kick that one too well off the boot at all.
2-3 to 2-5. Gary Pert to kick in. 6 minutes left in the first quarter before this very, very good crowd now at the SCG. Doolan up behind. Taps away from his teammate John. Shaw. A lovely balk from the Collingwood skipper, and the mark taken by McGuan. McGuan at right centre wing. Loves to run with the football. Kelly's tackle is late. Umpire calls play on. Rowe getting underneath it, but a good mark taken by Lewis over Dacos. On to Bayes. Bayes from the left back pocket. Doolan the target. Knocked away by Fraser, and he too comes from good football stock. His father Ken, of course, used to play for Essendon. A champion centre-half forward in his day. That's a Collingwood free kick. It'll go to Tony Francis again, so it's his second free of the night.
He played for that pretty well too, Pete, because he grabbed the
well, he does have skills in that department.
Yes, he grabbed the player's arm there and made out that he was being grabbed.
Bayes taps down, intending for Mitchell. Severio Rocker. A snapshot, he's second behind of the night. No, it's out of bounds. So the young fellow not on target yet, and still the crowd streams in. So it's going to be Dale Lewis to take the free kick. Fans well rugged up tonight. It's around about the 15-degree mark. Not a heat wave, but quite pleasant for football. Lewis from right back pocket. And picks out his man well. That's Holmes.
Yes, Holmes drives the Swans to centre wing. Monkhurst waiting back behind play. Long kick for Collingwood forward. Looking down there, it's Rocker once again and Bayes. Bayes with the left-hand handball gives it to the other left footer in Lewis, who's getting away from Dacos a little bit. Good battle here between Fraser and Doolan. Doolan with that left-hand handball gives it to Mooney, the youngster playing well. The left foot just sneaks inside the boundary line in front of Dennis Carroll, the captain. And a throw in. Swans are really changing play well.
How many times, Jared, would Dennis Carroll have played at centre-half forward?
Oh, a number of times. On this ground, a mobile option at centre-half forward isn't a bad thing. We see Matthews opting for Morwood. However, I'm sure his favourite position would be the centre of the ground. Doolan on the ground. Gets a good handball to Higgins. Higgins straight up in the air. This is pressure for Strooper. Uses his body well. Oh, gives a free kick away. Well, I thought that was just good use of the arm.
Yeah, pretty ordinary, that one. Yeah, but Strooper's been a very good player for Sydney since transferring from Fitzroy. In fact, he's a leading Sydney goal kicker for 1992.
Francisca. A fortuitous free kick, one would have thought. Kelly over the back. Fine mark. The Kelly-Francis duel shaping up as one of the best of the night. Very impressive, the young Mooney. Long left footer. The Swans have got a number of in their side. Carroll with time lines up the goals from the 50-metre line. It's a pretty good shot at goal from the skipper and beauty.
Possession from that. It's a stalemate according to the umpire, and a bounce will follow. So 2 goals to Minton Connell, 1 to Carroll, and Brad Rowe with Craig Starcevic, the goal kickers for the Magpies so far in this match. John cannons into Monkhurst, and the big blonde Magpie's got another free kick. And Gareth John, I also noticed, wearing the glove. So Tony Campbell this year certainly started a trend. Now I think Peter Knight's wore them quite a few years back for Hawthorn. Oh, bad hand pass. Tony Shaw takes advantage of it from Mitchell and puts it through for a goal. Well, read the play superbly there, the Collingwood veteran. 3-5 to 3-3.
Yes, there's Tony Shaw, the veteran, as you said, Pete. A replay of this. A long kick into the forward line. Good lead from Rocker. And that momentum on the forward line. There's that hand pass coming from Barry Mitchell. Reading it beautifully was Tony Shaw. Chipping in. And that's a real bonus goal there. He read the play, saw what was happening. Good effort from the veteran Collingwood skipper.
Just over 2 minutes of play remain. Scores pretty level in an entertaining first quarter. Knocked out for Sydney, taken by McCartney, who's doing well, although he's had a goal from Carroll kicked on him. Bursting through was Gray, goes onto the trusty left foot. Minton Connellan hurt once again. Good contest there. Strooper flips a handball out. That was a throw there from Minton Connell. Once again, he digs it out, gets it to Carroll with the handball. Terry Tripod, terrific tackle there by Francisco, and is rewarded by the umpire.
Relentless pressure there from the Magpie defence. Some good tackles, Gary Pert. That was a terrific tackle from Francisco.
Richardson ducks back. Short chip kick. He's looking for Fraser. Fraser gets the handball off. Poor option there. Gives it to Saunders, and he goes to the centre of the ground. Coming through for the Swans is Darren Holmes. He's on the burst. Good play from Holmes. Attacking the football with true gusto and desire. Back to Carroll. He goal from here not long ago, but he elects to give it unselfishly to Nettlebeck, and Nettlebeck should convert this. But under pressure, and pushed it to the right and only behind.
Yes, unfortunately, Nettlebeck took that hand pass with his back to the goal and had to turn around, get some momentum up, and just wasn't capable of kicking that goal. But had the hand pass been to Nettlebeck running into the goal, it would have been a certainty, I feel, Jared.
So a minute 10 left in the first quarter. Gary Pert's had a busy opening term with Minton Connell kicking a couple of goals. That's shaping up as one of the duels of the night. Carroll at the back fits the ball to the front of the pack. Monkhurst looking for options. Excellent hand pass. Russell on the burst. He can kick long down towards Rocker at full forward. Couldn't take the mark. He butters up again. Dacos, his first real chance. The hand pass. He was under pressure there. Morwood's had a great first quarter. Can he convert this? He can't. Sydney defending desperately at the moment. Ball out the front of the pack. Lehman off the ground. And through for only one behind. So Troy Lehman kicks his second behind of the quarter. It might be the final score of the term. We've got half a minute to go. Gary Buckenara and the Swans Brains Trust. I think Gary will be pretty happy with the first quarter effort so far.
Should be, Pete. It's been an excellent performance by the Swans so far.
Great desperation there from Dale Lewis.
That smother, Jared, yes.
Fantastic.
It was a magnificent smother.
Mark Bays kicks in. No mark taken. And we'll see a bounce on the edge of the square.
Well, 23 seconds to go in this quarter. The Swans have been surprisingly competitive. Let's hope they can go on with it for the whole game. That's what we want, a tight tussle. Bounce down. Monkhurst wins it. Going nowhere at this stage. Francis tries to burrow through, as does Mitchell, who's continually on the bottom of the packs. As time wastes, and there's the siren. So in an entertaining first quarter, Collingwood just in front. They lead by 2 points. 24 plays 22.
Two points the difference. Sydney going to the right of screen in the second term. It's 3-6 to 3-4. Monkhurst and John, this time won by Gareth John. Off the ground from Russell. Or Francisco it was, but not very far. Mitchell can't get a clean possession. Oh, Kelly got sandwiched there. Good tackle by Francis. Before somebody gets killed.
Yes, you're right, Pete. Very slow with the whistle there. The umpire let it go for a long time.
So another ball up pretty close to the centre square. Now it's getting cold. Even the umpire's balked. Good bounce. Monkhurst, John. So they both had a handle on that one. Doolan farms it out quickly. Oh, Tony Shaw, another steal. Kicks down to half forward. Gee, is that a mark to Morwood? Great one-hander.
He's claiming it.
Started off in fine fettle in the opening term, Morwood. 2-on-1 duel down there. Rocker up high.
Oh,
that's a free kick on the shoulder. Yep. They're taken by Kelly. And loud applause and long from the Sydney fans. Oh, I mentioned it before, but gee, this is a good crowd tonight. Collingwood, well, they'd draw a crowd out in another ball playing, wouldn't they? Free kick going to Sydney. It'll be taken by Lewis, I think. Yes.
They may have to next year, Peter. They're talking about sending them to Kalgoorlie.
I read that. It's just about another ball playing.
Well, Sydney into attack. Advantage has been paid. Gareth John with the red gloves swings around onto his right foot. He's looking for Minton Connell. It's an excellent kick. Just drops a little bit short, however. I thought Minton Connell could have got there. Allowed it to bounce. He centres it now with the left foot. And a terrific kick finds Brunton, who's just got away from Mick McGuan.
Yes, well, Brunton with the tagging job on Mickey McGuan. The roles reversed.
Well, he's been a pretty good player. He got Mick McGuan squelched early in the season. He's doing a pretty good job at the moment. He drives them forward. Flyers at the back, but Monkhurst stands tall, takes a good mark, showing outstanding form in the last month.
Yes, she's been an excellent player. Best on the ground last week against the Brisbane Bears.
Shaw again reads the play well. Francis gives him backup support. Centering kick from him could be dangerous. Monkhurst hasn't come off. Monkhurst slaps the ball out wide. Picked up by Richardson, playing his 50th tonight. A short kick to position well. Kusiska unloads to Gaither at left half-back flank. Mickey Gaither's kick up towards the edge of the square. The Magpies have the numbers. The ball twisted up towards midfield. They'll bring it away in turn. The ball taken for Collingwood by it was Lehman, and Starcevic has taken the mark.
A good thump away there from Brad Rowe, Pete, to set that up.
Starcevic has kicked one goal. One goal, one in fact, 50 metres out. Has he got 2 goals, one? He has. Yes, sir. Starcevic the first player to kick, second player to kick more than one. First Collingwood player to do so. 4-6 to 3-4.
Yes, well, as I said earlier, Craig Starcevic has spent a bit of time on the back line playing at centre-half back since the bad injury to Craig Kelly. He's now kicked 14 goals for the season, Craig Starcevic.
Here's first blood to Collingwood in the second quarter. There's a good close-up of the red gloves on Gareth John, taking a big run-up, attempting to jump early, but Monkhurst does best. Gets it to Lehman, who's done well on the centre bounces. Drives the ball forward, a quick kick. Here's one of the players on the ground at the moment who's done well, Dale Lewis, who's really doing well on Dacos in that he's running off him and maintaining some sort of attack as well as keeping Dacos quiet.
Well, Lewis chose to attack the ball there rather than worrying about Dacos, and it paid dividends. Mooney
out of the ruck for the Swans. Russell round the corner, throws it onto his boot, doesn't work out. Kick off the ground.
It goes down to Brad Rowe, but I'd like to see it in slow motion. The goal umpire had no doubts, though. And a good start by the Magpies to their second term. Holmes overruns it. Chance for Doolan to pick the ball up, which he does. Doesn't really gain any meterage for his side, though. Kicks it across the ground. Francis sees the ball bounce over his head and out of bounds. So throw in. Collingwood's left half forward flank.
Well, it certainly looked like it came off a Sydney boot, Peter, didn't it? But there was no argument from the Swans players in that goal.
Well, they both had a kick at it at the same time, I think, Gerard. As I said, the goal umpire was in no doubt. John gets in front of Starcevic. Umpire's given a free kick on the shoulder, going to Sydney. John will take it with the red gloves. Becoming quite fashionable in AFL ranks. This is Lehman. Kick downfield by Russell. Up towards half forward. Morwood. 20-metre hand pass onto Fraser. He kicks it like his dad. It'll be a goal, and it is. So 3 goals in quick succession to the Magpies to start the second quarter. 6-6 to 3-4 at the SCG.
Yes, of course, Mark Fraser, the son of former Essendon captain Kenny Fraser. As we see this in replay, Dacos being pretty well held at the moment by Dale Lewis contesting there. And there he is, a very pacey player, Mark Fraser, on the end of that hand pass, and an easy goal to the Pies.
Got a nasty knock at Carrara last week, but to his credit, Bernie, he did bounce back well, didn't he?
Yes, he got a couple of nasty knocks, Pete, in fact.
Well, the Swans must reply now. They're more than 3 goals down, 3 quick ones, and McGuan takes it out of the centre again for Collingwood. Up in the air, it's Starcevic and Mooney. Dacos at the front looks dangerous. Through comes Lewis, on to Kelly, and Kelly goes to the safety of the boundary line with a low scrubber across the line.
It's an educated kick there from Paul Kelly.
I do need to get one fairly shortly, the Swans. I don't want to let the Pies slip away. And 3 goals constitutes a run. They should be really manning up now, trying to go man on man. Mitchell from the tap in. Brunton and McGuan together. Morwood, who's done well, gets it to Russell. Round the corner with the left foot. Gareth John, there's a free kick behind play. It's a push in the back, and it's gone to Tony Francis. Now he's flicked it out to Graham Wright. Well, Wright was dragged in the first half. One suggests for fumbling. Over the back is a great mark from Bayes.
That was a terrific mark, wasn't it, to Mark Bayes? Of course, the State of Origin fullback for Victoria this year, played on Steve Kernahan.
Kick to the outer side. Again, Collingwood have the numbers. Here's Fraser. This time it's a Swans free kick. On the shoulder. The umpire pays. And they run the ball away through Doolittle. Now taken out there by Richardson. More quick hands, quick hand pass. Graham Wright, superb delivery. And Starcevic marching centre half forward. Has got a chance to kick his third. Usually a pretty good kick. He started with a bad miss, but has kicked 2 goals since. The Magpies already with 3 to their credit in the second quarter. That could be their 4th, and it is.
When you've got really serious work to do, it might not be enough to just have a big V6 under the bonnet. That's why Mitsubishi proudly bring you the new Triton 3-litre V6 cab chassis with 4-wheel drive. The new Triton V6. Have a think about it. Or as the boys at Mitsubishi might say, please consider.
Magpies on a roll here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Here they come again. Russell over to Francis, inside 50. Kelly poleaxes him as he kicks the ball, but he might get the goal anyway. He's got it. Hit the post. Oh. Actually, it hit the padding down the bottom, and it just shaved that. So if it had gone half a metre higher, it would have been a goal.
Give him 3 points.
Good work from the big bloke in the goal square, Rocker, to keep Bayes out of the contest.
Bayes drives it into attack. The Swans are getting killed across the centre and out of the middle of the bouncers. Mooney, who's been excellent for the Swans, takes another mark. Left foot chip kick finds Gareth John. Don's got to be proud of the boy wearing the gloves. He's another ruckman that gave them a try. Kelly walks around, gets a kick now, straight down the middle of the ground. One of the few times the Swans have gone forward in this quarter. They've run into Monkhurst, who's taken 2 good marks down there for this quarter. McCartney couldn't control it. Francis now on to Krasiska. Flicks the ball out wide again. Gary Pert. Good ball. Right foot kick to centre half forward. Starcevic and John do battle. John ducking back, giving assistance across half back. Round the corner was Holmes. Didn't look where he kicked, however, under pressure. And Morwood takes a mark in front of Ango.
Short pass to Tony Francis, and those 2 players have been very prominent. Starcevic likewise has kicked 3 goals. Another whistle. And Starcevic getting the free. Well, it appeared to me, Bernie, both players were going for the ball, but
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in it, was there, Pete?
sometimes you pay little tiggy frees. That's off the hands and rushed through for 1 behind to Collingwood. The Magpies, as they did early in the first quarter, doing all the attacking. 22 plays 50. So Sydney will need to get a rattle on. Doolin takes the mark at left half back. As Gerard mentioned, out of the centre and across midfield, they're being killed. Dennis Carroll kicked a nice long goal in the first quarter. Has had an injury-plagued season. Brunton takes a good mark at midfield. Now, can Sydney mount something from this? Brunton's kick, looking for Minton Connell. Turns on a foot and he bit. Away he goes! Runs into a bad patch of turf. And, well, arguably would have been a goal. We'll never know, will we?
No, I think Gary Pert was pretty desperate to get him, though, Pete. I don't know whether he would have got him or not, but he was making up good ground on him.
Monkhurst gets the front posse from Nettlebeck. At the back of the pack, there's Dennis Carroll. Hand pass to Kelly. Kelly around onto his left. Kicks it into the pocket, and Monkhurst again taking a good mark.
Monkhurst really being used as an extra defender in this quarter, with Craig Starcevic doing the ruck work on that forward line for Collingwood.
Doing a Gary Dempsey, isn't he? Gary Pert. Kicks up to midfield. The centre wing. Morwood claiming the mark. He's playing well. Morwood from right centre wing. With a long driving kick to the half-forward line. Starcevic is cutting him to pieces in that position. He's kicked 3 already. Over to McGuan, who went up one-handed, couldn't take the mark. Dacos gets taken out of it. Free kick going Collingwood's way. They're doing pretty well in that regard at the moment. And Peter Dacos will take, I think, only his second kick for the night.
Yes, let's have a look at this in replay. Umpire seeing, well, Peter Dacos pretty good at making the umpire notice things, Pete, isn't he?
He's got the kick and kicks the goal.
These days, you have to be careful where you take your car to be serviced. Otherwise, you could end up dealing with people you don't know, people you can't trust. But here at BP Car Care, you get fixed price servicing with a nationwide guarantee. Every time your local BP Car Care man does a job, he puts his name on the line. So if you want real car care, always look for the BP Car Care sign.
BP on the move.
Ball back in the centre. Monkhurst flicks it out again. Doolan off the wing did well to get it forward for Sydney. Tap on once again, but Richardson replies. Gets it to Krasiska. Around the corner goes Krasiska, and the boundary line will beat all players. Oh, no, good tap in over the back there from Engo. Gives it to Carroll. Sweeps a handball to Mitchell. Something going here for the Swans. Kelly ducks around right, and a kick will land just... Well, he's paid out in the full. But from our angle here, it looked like Strooper had a hand on it before it went over.
Yes, I would agree with that. Strooper, I think, definitely touched that before it went out of bounds.
Gary Pert breaking away from Minton Connell now. He loves to run, and away he goes. Takes off straight through Lawson, who came on to replace Thrift. Just barged through with brute strength. Looking for Dacos. Free kick's been paid. And that will go to the Sydney Swans in Brunton, who was retarded across half-back. Chip kick didn't gain much, although it put the Swans in space. Lewis couldn't take it. McCartney, who's playing at centre half-back, drives. Well, there's nobody home for the Pies. It's a foot race now. Rocker, Bays let it slip through. Rocker around the corner. Handballs to the Mercurial one. And Dacos popped through his second.
Only 3 kicks to Peter Dacos. He doesn't need many. He's kicked 2 goals.
Collingwood certainly on a roll now.
6-2 to nothing in this quarter.
Yes, a very big quarter by the Pies, as we see. Well, it was a dangerous chip pass there, setting this up for Collingwood, coming out of the Sydney Swans defence. A long kick there from McCartney, who's looked pretty impressive. As Graham Allen said, Collingwood's director of football will be watching this game over in WA.
So back to the centre, and Sydney really need to pull something out here. They trailed by 40 points. Doolan's hand pass intended for Lawson. He's got plenty of speed, the little fellow from Wentworth. Away he goes. Long shot. It's their first score of the quarter, and he's put it through for a goal.
With the rock critics already raving, Scotland's Delamitri deliver one of the best albums of the year. Change Everything, out now.
You know, Pam here is really chuffed with these new Continental Pasta and Sauce family packs. There's enough in here to feed a whole hungry horde. Oh, thank you. Look at the little blighters go.
Sorry, Clive.
New Continental Pasta and Sauce family packs.
Lawson kicking the Swans' first goal. In fact, their first score of the second term. Took them a long while to get it. Can they get it out of the centre again? Maybe. Mitchell, Monkhurst. Wright's in there. Oh, Krasiska gets buried. Carroll comes up with the ball. Then they get argue with either of those two guys in a back alley. And we'll see a bounce. Centre half forward for Sydney. Or close to the centre of the ground. Looking on Mike Willesee. Kelly. Shaw. Francis. Krasiska at centre half back. Chips the ball up to midfield. And Collingwood can go further forward again. This is McCartney. Down towards left half forward flank. No mark taken. Away goes Brad Rowe. The Johnny Platten lookalike. Oh, gee, is that a trip? He's paid it.
Yes, it's been paid as a trip, Pete. The tackle started off okay, then slipped down. Here we see this in replay. Rowe getting away. There's a tackle. Starts around the hips. The ideal tackle initially, but Rowe's momentum forcing that tackle there from Mooney down around the ankles.
Brad Rowe's kicked 2 goals. His first shot of goal was from a similar position at the other end of the ground early in the first quarter. He kicked that out of bounds. The opposite side of the ground, though, for him this time. He might make a better fist of it. I don't think he has. Well, he has in one respect. He's got a point. The previous one went out of bounds. So, Brad Rowe, who's kicked now 2 goals, 1.
It's a real steamroll here from Collingwood, looking for the grand slam of interstate wins. 3 already. They're looking for their 4th. Looking pretty good at the moment. Bayes kicks it wide. It's a big fly from John, but punched away well by Monkhurst. Doolan gets it to Mitchell. Mitchell evades one player and drives into space. There's nobody there for Sydney as Pert comes charging through again. This time he hits a brick wall. It's a trip. Lawson gets the handball off and is being paid the free kick.
Yes, he did pretty well initially, didn't he, to hold up Gary Pert. He just brushed him aside earlier, tried it again, and Jamie Lawson hung on for dear life.
Well done. Lawson. Speedy Gonzalez is called. That time he really did show great courage. Pert tried to brush him off like a fly. Attempts the torpedo. He's hit this spiral well, but it's just drifted off and out on the fall. Got good distance. The accuracy is straight.
Yeah, good to see the spirals coming into effect here, and he kicked that from about 53 metres out.
One of the best kicks in the game. Pert kicks it over the 50. At the back of the pack was McCartney, who takes a terrific mark. The 18-year-old shows a lot of potential. He's a big pickup by Collingwood. They didn't expect to get him in the draft 2 years ago. Krasiska, the left footer for Collingwood, drives him into attack. Starcevic at the back. Brunton once again finds Carroll. Now it slips through his hands, and Krasiska mops up and will push Collingwood into attack once again.
Gavin Krasiska's centering kick. Well, a big climb at the back from Rowe. Holmes takes him high. Nothing for it from the umpire. Dunkley, a quick hand pass. Starcevic tries to tie it up. I think it's Brunton underneath all of that, and it'll be a bounce. Left half forward flank for the Magpies. Under 10 minutes left in the first half. Been an excellent quarter from the Woods. They've steamrolled the Swans in this term. Starcevic taps out. Mitchell nearly had it. Starcevic again with Brunton. Mitchell again. Tackled by McGuan. Ball spills free. Sydney go forward. Ball driven up by Kelly towards centre half forward. It's all Collingwood, and Mickey Gafer takes the grab.
Sydney's made a change, Pete. Strooper off and Terry Fripp back on.
Russell. Great laughed half by Scotty Russell last week against the Brisbane Bears. On to Francis, his fellow South Australian. Brunton goes down. Russell again. There's a whistle. Sydney free kick.
Against Tony Francis. He charged into the back of the Sydney Swans player. Doolan to take it.
Bayes. Predictably with the left foot. Pert went up one-handed. Couldn't take it. Sydney might be able to take this ball away. Minton Connell's a long way from goal. Then he gets dragged down. Thripp back onto the ground. Higgins. Did he get taken high? Long hand pass. Back to Thripp. Onto Lawson, who's livened them up across the half-forward line. Ducking back to take a very safe mark is the 50-gamer in Richardson. Keeps the ball on the same side of the ground onto Saunders. 8 minutes left in this quarter. And the Magpies dragging crowds all over Australia. Tremendous crowd here tonight. Minton Connell been moved up forward with a PSO. After centre half forward. Certainly well up the ground. Good tackle applied by Francis. Nothing forward. Collingwood supporters looking for a free kick. Here's John.
Gary Pert doesn't believe so. He's waiting back in the goal square. Troy Gray gets taken low by Richardson, but no free kick. Good pass there to Wright. Wright's got McGuan in support. The handball was a poor one. Mickey loves to run. The Brownlow medal favourite, as a lot of people have him. Gets the ball onto Fraser. He's got Wright in support. Good run from Wright. Oh, terrific tackle there by Dunkley, who took on Wright and pulled him to the ground. Fraser once again butters up. He can shoot this at goal, and he does that. Good smother there from Kelly. Puts him out of business. Dacos leads him for the ball. Through comes Lewis, and he clears for the Sydney Swans. Higgins has got space. Bayes in support. With the left foot, he goes to the centre of the ground, and with the silk Thripp, he's spoiled by Krasiska. Nettlebeck gets a hand on it and puts Lewis in front of the ball. But coming through was Saunders, who did it well. McGuan getting a couple of touches now. Good tackle from Carroll behind play. And finally, the umpire will say, it's mine, fellas. Old ball up in the centre of the ground.
Well, this is a much more committed effort from the Sydney Swans, although it's not transferring onto the scoreboard. Their tackling and chasing has been magnificent tonight. A couple of very good efforts, especially from Lewis in the back line. I think we saw 3 players really prepared to apply the tackles.
Well, the last part of this quarter for them has been much better than the first part. Thripp, in which Collingwood got a lot of easy goals. One-on-one duel. Minton Connell can't take it. The ball knocked towards the boundary line by the Collingwood defence. And it's over the boundary line for a throw-in about 8 metres from the behind post in Sydney's right forward pocket. A couple of goals before half-time from Sydney would be handy. Change being made from Gary Buckenara, it would appear.
There's Doolan off for the Sydney Swans. And Creswell coming on.
John out the back, stripped the target. He tried to get onto his right foot, couldn't do so. Lawson, Nettlebeck, Higgins. Collingwood free kick.
Yes, against Lawson there for charging the player.
Saunders takes it to Richardson, who chips it short to Tony Shaw at right half back. Stole a lovely hand pass from Mitchell. Now Mitchell's got a free kick.
It's a free kick off the ball there against, I think it was Scotty Russell.
Oh, gee.
Is Mitchell taking the free kick? No, he's not.
Going to Gray.
There's a couple of incidents there.
And Minton Connell on the lead. Collingwood players arguing with the umpire. And Minton Connell unchecked, leads out well. He's kicked 2 goals. Both came in the first quarter. And Sydney went to sleep in the first part of this term, but starting to regroup now. All was not lost. They're not out of this match by any stretch of the imagination. 5 minutes left in this term. Simon Minton Connell right on 50. It's going to be close. Marking contest in the goal square. John's down there with the gloves. Monkhurst applies a tackle. Nettlebeck, bananas it and has missed. Richardson on the burst should be able to clear. Brushes one tackle well and comes long out of defence. Marking contest right on 50. None can take it. Ball spills free. Good tackle by Fraser. Chance for Russell. He gets cannoned into. Sydney Swans going in pretty solidly now. And number 55 just come onto the ground. Creswell played his first game last week at Subiaco against the West Coast Eagles.
There seemed to be some sort of a problem with the player who came off the ground, and that was Ben Doolan. He limped off the ground. So maybe some sort of leg injury there.
Lawson couldn't take it. He's given some life to the Swans on the forward line, however. Mooney can with a long left foot. He's looking for Minton Connell again. Gray shoves out Richardson and gives away the penalty across half back. If he doesn't look ahead, he'll give away 50. Pert now straight up the middle of the ground. Handballs wide. Monkhurst, long driving kick, looking for Maud. He's moved up onto the wing. Pye's just being forced to go wide now, but Russell gets away from Higgins. Terrific kick. Starcevic ducked his head as the ball hit his hands. Took his eye off the ball. Fortunately for Collingwood, Dacos is there. He flicks it behind. Starcevic gets a second chance. Swings round onto his left foot. Seems to be playing blasé football at the moment. As Engo gets a kick for the Sydney Swans. There's no one home. He's just blazed away, and that's a problem for the Swans. Good tackle there by Nettlebeck on Richardson. The ball over the boundary line.
It was Craig Starcevic really should have gobbled that one up, shouldn't he, Jared? Across half forward there. He's in the top 10s in the markers in the competition.
You wouldn't believe it looking at that one. An absolute sitter.
He's averaging 7 marks a game.
A terrific tap there to Creswell from John. It's Creswell's first kick. Mitchell's been moved to the forward pocket. Taps the ball. Fortunately, it comes to Carroll. Now he can swing it round for Minton Connell, who's running with the flight of the ball. He sits under it. He gets punched from behind by Gafer. He gets a second chance. Looked at Lawson, took his eyes off the ball, but kicked clear for Collingwood by Pert. McGuan kicks the ball off the ground and luckily just drops it inside. Kicks it for touch. And a throw in on the half-forward flank. And Cameron Williams, welcome to the SCG tonight. You have a report.
Yes, thanks very much, Jared. Ben Doolan has damaged cartilage or ligaments in his left knee. They've iced it now. They're going to have a better look at how serious that knock was when they go in at half-time.
Obviously, Doug Coleman, their physiotherapist, doing the diagnosis. Over the back, Tony Shaw read it well, and Collingwood go to the wing with Starcevic by a held. And a free kick now given to Mooney, who's playing well.
Mooney, one of the rookies in the Swans lineup. And Gareth John takes the mark at half forward. Late inclusion tonight for Brad Tunbridge, who couldn't take his place in the side. And, well, doing a fair job against Damien Monkhurst, one of the dinosaurs of AFL ruckman at the moment.
What do you think from this distance, Jared, for the big bloke Gareth John? Is he a very good kick, distance-wise?
A yard either side, Bernie.
Okay.
Sounds like 2 bob each way.
A Dennis Lilly run-up.
Going close. It'll get there. It's a goal.
7 days to go. The Waters off Barcelona are some of the trickiest.
This place is particularly difficult in terms of winds.
But even with the shifting winds, our sailors have a big chance of winning 4 or 5 medals in Barcelona. Follow the Aussie team on Channel 7.
The Olympic Games begin July 25 on the 7 network.
Presenting the Olympic...
An excellent kick.
Well, again, a free kick out of the centre. That's unforgivable. Monkhurst to take the free kick.
The second this quarter.
Short pass. Bad checking. Tony Shaw's taken the mark. Collingwood with the chance before half-time. A minute left. Francis flicks it out. Right. Around his body. Kicks it goal. Awkward-looking kick. And he's put it through for 4 points. And that started from the unforgivable error at midfield with a free kick from the centre square. 10-9 to 5-4.
Yes, Pete, the second time that's happened, and they really must be aware of what's going on in that centre square bounce down. And Damien Monkhurst, the Collingwood players, took the bit between the teeth there. Were prepared to hand pass and run on. Plenty of support there from the running Collingwood players.
50 seconds left in this quarter. Swans do need another goal. Tap out by Monkhurst once again. Dunkley with a quick kick. Thrip with the silks on. Gets it to Engo. Engo's tackled well by Krasiska, who turns it over well for Collingwood. The big fellow in John had trouble picking it up, but now he's got plenty of time. He should pinpoint this quick. He does it well to Gray. Gray swings into the centre of the ground on his left foot, and a good pass finds Minton Connell on the 50. Now he moves the ball on quickly. There's an open goal square. It's good tactics and a terrific kick from the 50. Minton Connell kicks his third. So with 14 seconds left on the clock, Sydney strike back.
Yes, well, they're staying in touch, Jared, aren't they, with Minton Connell doing pretty well on that forward line against Gary Pert. We see this kick here coming into the forward line from Troy Gray. A good lead from Minton Connell. He's a very good forward, Simon Minton Connell. He read the play beautifully, summed it up. No one back in the goal square. He went long and blazed away right through the middle.
Well, if Sydney lose this game, they might look back on those black 15 minutes at the start of this quarter. They've gone goal for goal since then with the Magpies. But to win it, they've got to do better than that. Mitchell tries to pick it up, gets it out to Lawson. He's livened them up around the pack since he came on. Kicks up towards Gray at left centre wing, who marks in front of Richardson, but there's the siren. And he kicks it down to Higgins, but of course, no mark, no further score. And Doolan with the ice, well, it was on his knee, and limping noticeably. So that's not good news for Sydney, but gee, those first 15 minutes, Gerard, if there's going to be a decision Collingwood's way by 4 or 5 goals, Gary Buckenara, I'm sure, will play the tape of that particular part of the quarter.
Yes, I thought Starcevic just got away from them there in that early part. Kicked a goal, kicked a couple of goals, in fact. Brad Rowe got that lucky one off the ground in the goal square, and perhaps a little bit of desperation there may have changed. The scores at half-time, Sydney trail 6-4. Collingwood kicked away that quarter, 10-9.
I need your help.
Tonight, Sister Steve trades places with a princess.
A kidnapping?
And I am the target.
Now she's caught up with some very nasty mobsters.
I hope she knows what she's doing.
A royal scandal.
Who are you?
And a race to save her double's life.
Please, we have to hurry.
Another exciting mystery adventure on Father Dowling tonight.
We've all got favorite songs that go straight to the heart. Now this one's got them all. When Love Rocks Your Heart. 28 solid rock hits with Elton John. Tony Child's hit. Hall & Oates. Starship. Plus hits from George Michael, Divinals, Fleetwood Mac and more. 2 CDs of solid rock ballads. When Love Rocks Your Heart. New and only from Concept.
One of my cats used to get an upset tummy from the lactose in milk. Which cat? Well, it was hard to tell, but I wanted to be sure they were both fine. So I changed to Whiskas Milk Plus. It's lactose reduced. That means no upset tummy. It's made such a difference to their day. So, which cat was it?
Whiskas Milk Plus, because Whiskas knows cats best. It's a Berber bonanza at Solomon's, and this luxurious Pune wool Berber is an absolute bargain.
Yes, Solomon's price for this sensational heavy-duty pure wool carpet is now only $75 a metre. There's more. This brand new level loop wool blend Berber is just $65 a metre. And this Easy Care Berber is a super budget beater at a mere $55 a metre.
And at Solomon's, you can buy now and pay in October.
Really?
Really?
Wherever you're home, we're as close as the phone. Shop at home with Solomon's.
When things get tight in business, invariably the first element to go is the marketing budget. But if no one knows who you are or what you offer, how are you going to find new business and grow out of this problem? ProVisible offers a complete strategy to get your product and your company seen and desired for minimal outlay. ProVisible has extensive experience in TV commercials, corporate marketing and promotional videos. Effective media for effective results. Give your company professional visibility. Call ProVisible. Let's get to it.
It's a riot of music and laughter with Lee Marvin, Clint Eastwood and Gene Seberg. Paint Your Wagon, tonight on 7.
7 days to go. The waters off Barcelona are some of the trickiest.
This place is particularly difficult in terms of winds.
But even with the shifting winds, our sailors have a big chance of winning 4 or 5 medals in Barcelona. Follow the Aussie team on Channel 7.
The Olympic Games begin July 25 on the 7 network.
Presenting the Olympic coverage, Kellogg's Sustain, made for the Australian Institute of Sport.
Gets underway in a fiery mode. Sydney through Brunton. Brunton up towards half forward. Minton Connell couldn't take the mark. Ball spills free out to the 50-metre line. Carroll looks for the hand pass. He gets it back to Creswell, who came on in the second quarter for only his second game, and McGuan taking the mark at right half back.
Pete, I'd be amazed if Ben Doolan's out there for too long. He's limping very badly.
Yeah, when he ran out, Bernie, he was limping. I was surprised.
I thought he was just warming up with the side, but I was amazed when Cameron Williams said that he'd be taking his place in the team.
John kicks down to Minton Connell, who marks just outside 50.
He does kick the ball very well, Simon Minton Connell. He's given Gary Pert a real headache on a couple of occasions. Ben Doolan there with that left knee very, very heavily bandaged. You could see there from that picture he's limping very heavily.
So Simon Minton Connell for goal number 4. Be a great start for Sydney if he can bag this one to start the third term. Distance is okay. Accuracy is right, and he's got it. And that's just what Gary Buckenara would have wanted to start the third quarter, 10-9 to 7-4.
There's Simon Minton Connell. Well, he's been a real find for the Sydney Swans in that pickup, that deal involving Greg Williams. Of course, Carlton had to give up a couple of good players if they were to get Greg Williams into that Carlton side. And Minton Connell, he performed pretty well for Carlton on a number of occasions at the full forward position. He's kicked 4 goals tonight, and that makes it 33 for the season playing at full forward for the Swans.
Ball in the centre now. Bays with the right-hand handball gets it to Thripp. Thripp goes wide. This is a good start for the Swans. I'm sure that'll be impressing Buckenara. Strooper back on the ground. Runs at full distance. Perhaps he went too far. A bit of a mongrel kick. Skimmed along the ground and trapped by Richardson. He turns it back into attack for Collingwood. And a good chip kick to Saunders.
He was probably going a little bit too fast in the end, Strooper. He didn't have the chance to steady and really get balanced to drive that kick at goal.
We did break away with good pace, and as you say, Bernie had time to steady. Morwood puts Collingwood into attack. Looking for Starcevic, went up, kept his eyes on it that time. Could have been paid even. Kelly coming through, but Russell pushes it forward for Collingwood. Big punch there from Holmes. And Angove now with the ball. Throws it onto his boot. Fairly ordinary kick. Row round the corner. Starcevic taps it on, but only as far as Brunton and Sydney go forward again.
About as far as they're going. McCartney at midfield. Back to Monkhurst. On to Francis. Very busy player in the first half, Tony Francis. Down towards Thripp, who was a leaper from behind to fist the ball forward. Sydney player down too, Thripp. Kelly in the meantime. Gets it up to midfield. Carroll. Long kick from the skipper. One-on-one duel. Strooper. Gaper. Gaper goes for the boundary line. Or did he rush it through from behind? It's a score, a minor score. Could have almost been delivered out of bounds otherwise. So the ball rushed through for a point to the Sydney Swans. And Gary Pert will again kick in. 7-5 to 10-9. Shane Kerrison hasn't had a run so far. Eddie Hillgrove, the team manager, in the foreground there as Pert prepares to kick in. Gee, Thripp looks a little proppy too, doesn't he?
Very proppy, Pete.
Can't understand Doolan being on, though. You can see him there limping. Can they make something of this, Sydney? Ball kicked by Creswell. Onto Carroll. Runs into goal. Long shot from the skipper's bending back, but not far enough. And he's put it through for only one behind. So his tally for the night, 1 goal, 1. 7-6 to 10-9. Sydney starting the third term much better than they did the second. Monkhurst and John. Lawson, who came on in the second quarter, on the Doolan. Can he kick okay? He can! Touched right on the line. Well, I think normally, Jared, he would have got the distance with that kick.
Yes, it's an interesting one, certainly, Peter. Perhaps it's just the bandages that are causing him discomfort, although I was impressed then by the way he kicked the ball. And good play by Gary Pert to come back. He'll kick Collingwood into attack. Long kick now, looking for Monkhurst. Quick handballs, a poor one, goes only as far as Gray. Sydney Swans into attack. Minton Connell at the front. Good punch by Pert. Francis goes backwards, but it's good play. Gives it to Gafer, and he can chip the ball out to Richardson. Nearly stolen by the speedy Lawson. That could have been construed as a throw. Gray, with time, delivers it very poorly. Once again, Richardson sees it over the boundary line.
Some very sloppy hand passing there from the Collingwood team. Monkhurst in the middle of the ground. Really, he just was stationary and tried to get that hand pass away. You like to see a player on the move. If there is a mistake made, Jared, the player's on the move and can back up there and add some support.
Higgins lost sight of it. Shaw, a little short kick. McCartney. Francis at half-back. Usually constructive. This time, again, is long spiral punt kick to the centre half forward position. Oh, Bayes, great mark in front of forward. He's played on. Chips it with the left foot. Not a well-directed kick, and McCartney.
He did the hard work, didn't he, Pete, and then just gave it away there.
Yes, it's another turnover, which Gary Buckenara wouldn't be happy with. Starcevic will take the free kick this time. It will be against Angove.
Thripp on the sidelines too, with an obvious ankle injury, a left ankle problem to Terry Thripp.
Starcevic.
That's a free kick, surely.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, come on. I thought that was an obvious free kick against Rocker for nudging the player under the ball there, his opponent. Let's see that one again against Nettlebeck. Well,
I thought Nettlebeck conceded, Bernie, on the replay.
Yeah, maybe you're right there too, Jared, but sometimes the umpire pays them and sometimes he doesn't. But
Severio Rocker has kicked one behind tonight. Shouldn't miss this from point-blank range. He hasn't. It's a goal.
Presenting the Olympic coverage, Kellogg's Sustain, made for the Australian Institute of Sport.
It takes the ultimate commitment, an unwavering belief in yourself to do your best and then go one step further. And when the hard work is done, when every angle is covered, it all comes down to one moment in time. See Olympic dreams come true on the 7 Network.
There is nothing greater.
Yes, in fact, I think Nettlebeck has been a little bit poor in his aggression. One of the few Swans players not to have lifted tonight. An easy goal to Rocker. Gray does well coming out of the centre. Goes wide for Sydney Swans. Ben Doolan once again. Well, he definitely does look as if he is carrying that left knee.
Well, he's limping now, and you can see him going back. And Terry Thripp, the other player, off having that left ankle heavily taped. He was in some sort of discomfort when he left the ground.
Gareth John does well, takes a centre spot, but Richardson kicks the ball forward for Collingwood. Over the back was the fly from Bayes, but he didn't even touch the ball. Rowe overran the ball. Carroll getting back on it. Quick handball to that player there in Brunton. He looks for a handball, but decides on a kick. Mooney flicks the ball out to Cresswell. Cresswell on to Leon Higgins. He's got the goals in sight, and he goes banging it straight through the middle. Leon Higgins kicks his first goal for the afternoon or the evening, and Sydney strike back 8-7. They still trail Collingwood, however, who are 11-9.
Well, they've got to within 20 points, though, Jared, and it's been a good start, the start of the second half by the Sydney Swans. They're a pretty committed bunch tonight. couple of weeks ago, I was critical as the player taken from the ground for Collingwood, Brad Rowe. Kerrison on for his first run for the evening. As I think Brad Rowe just took his eye off the ball at the critical moment, and that's why he's been removed from the ground.
20 points the difference. Monkhurst and John. Russell hacks it out of the air up to the edge of the square. And a good mark taken by Mickey McGuan. Still inside the centre square. Looks for Dacos. Lewis has done a great job on him. The rebound was taken by Carroll. Saunders and Higgins. Gee, was that out on the full? Came off Saunders' boot.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so, Pete. But Peter Dacos would have had a pretty sleepless night. His daughter born at 9 a.m. this morning, so he spent most of the night at the hospital. Not much sleep would have been had there.
Monkhurst again and John. Monkhurst front position. Ball kicked up for Sydney by Creswell. Krasiska. Mooney was a good bump by him. Collingwood player still was able to dispose of the ball. Monkhurst grabbed when not in possession. Must get a free kick. Graham Wright decides to break clear, and you would ask why the advantage rule wasn't paid.
No, because play wasn't continuous, Pete. That's why.
Thank you,
players
Bernard.
did stop. The play must be continuous for advantage to be paid.
Good mark to Morwood. Gee, I've liked his game tonight. Got Collingwood moving in the first quarter. Morwood spears the pass, looking for Dacos. Lewis is there, quick hand pass. Lawson, quick hands and quick feet. Look at him go. On to Bayes. Bayes from inside the square. It might be downfield. There's a Sydney player down in Bayes. So the free kick will be taken at the centre half forward position.
A free kick against Mark Fraser there, against infringement on Bayes after he had delivered the ball further upfield. But yes, Jared Dale-Lewis doing a very good job.
Well, that was inspiring stuff there, wasn't it?
Playing a terrific game of Peter Dacos.
And Troy Gray's going to take the free kick. Gives it away to Lawson. Couldn't see anything gained in that. Mitchell, quick hand pass. Minton Connell for number 5. Has he got it? I think he has. Yes, sir.
When you've got really serious work to do, it might not be enough to just have a big V6 under the bonnet. That's why Mitsubishi proudly bring you the new Triton 3-litre V6 cab chassis with four-wheel drive. The new Triton V6. Have a think about it. Or as the boys at Mitsubishi might say, please consider.
Well, this is a good old-fashioned Sydney fight back. And the Swans fans have finally found some voice, and we know when they get going that they can inspire the Swans on to deeds above their ability. So perhaps Matthews has his problems as he attempts the grand slam of interstate wins. Kick out of the centre there quickly by Mitchell. But a good mark there to Scott Russell, who ran back with a flight of play. Onto McCartney. He looks awfully like Gary Pert as he strides away. The 18-year-old, excellent kick. But Dennis Carroll drops back, out-bustles Starcevic, and he's obviously been shifted to the other end of the ground. Looking wide for Strooper, and does find him.
There's something happening here in this second half. You can just feel that the Swans have lifted.
Certainly have. Ball will have to come back now. Strooper will have to go back over and kick over his mark, or handball in fact. Cresswell once again getting a couple of kicks in this third quarter. Finds Paul Kelly. Kelly telling the umpire how to run the show. Better off getting back and moving it on quickly. Good running from Cresswell. Picked up in the June draft. Hasn't been many success stories from that. Perhaps he's another. Kelly going forward over the top of the two, and at the back was Gareth John. Must have been touched in flight. Bernie Quinlan nods in agreement.
Yes, touched on the way through, Jerry, but gee, the Sydney Swans really have lifted since half-time. And really, as Peter said, if it hadn't been for that black 15 minutes start of the second quarter, the Swans could have been really, well, just about leading Collingwood at this stage of the match.
A sandwich of players there. Killed the football 30 metres out from Sydney's goal. Cameron Williams, you've got a report on Terry Thripp.
Yes, unfortunately, Terry won't be able to take any more part in the game. He did come off initially just to have his left ankle re-strapped because it's got a slight strain in it, but he can't get any spring out of it at all, so he's no use to them.
Well, that's two players that are sidelined permanently this evening for Sydney, Doolin and Thripp. right at midfield, had Francis of the option, decided to ignore him. He's gone long. Starcevic, where was Carroll? A little bit late on the scene, knocked on by Dacos. And a good knock on by Holmes has got the ball out of bounds. Might be deliberate.
No, the umpire indicating a throw-in, Pete. But, gee, the Sydney Swan defenders really appreciating the efforts being put in by these the players here tonight. They're having a go, aren't they?
Well, they are having a go. They've fought their way back into contention in this match. And doing a pretty good job against a side going for the double chance. And not a bad Collingwood side they've got out there tonight too. Missing Gavin Brown, of course. He'll be out for a few weeks. Craig Kelly, of course, for the season, but a lot of stars in that black and white jumper. Starcevic, he's been good tonight. And Sydney able to tie it up again. Morwood racing for it. 14 minutes left of this term and 14 points the difference. Shane Kerrison there has just come onto the ground, and we await the bounce. Holmes sees it safely over the boundary line again. And so a throw-in will take place right next to the behind post in Collingwood's left forward pocket. Rocker. Ball knocked down to Lewis. Kicks from a standing start up towards the edge of the square. Rebound taken away for the Swans up towards midfield. McCartney, as Gerard said, looks a lot like Gary Pert. Lawson with speed and finesse. The Wentworth wizard kicks out to Kelly. Kelly on the edge of the square. The Swans finding something. Perhaps it's a little bit of heart that was certainly lacking when they played Fitzroy. This is Higgins. Good pass. Strooper had an indifferent first half. Mitchell, quick hand pass. Creswell also quick. Higgins gets taken out of it with a good hip and shoulder. Ball out of bounds. Free kick.
Well, things start to happen, don't they, when the side gets a little bit of a run on, as Sydney Swans have in this third quarter. May have been a one-handed hand pass there from Creswell.
Well, look, a fair bump, Bernie. I thought it was a good hip and shoulder on Higgins. Coming in for kick number 11. Maybe just a little bit too far out for him.
He's favoured by the angle being a left footer though, Pete.
Yes.
From that side of the ground.
Goes in short. Bad pass. Mitchell kicks it off the ground. Tony Shaw will be content to take it over the boundary line, which he does. A throw and will follow.
This ordinary kick there coming from Higgins. Really, there was under no sort of pressure.
Well, it's not that tight over there either for a left footer. I would have expected him to have a shot at goal. However, Sydney still on attack. Mooney and Kelly. Kelly goes to ground. He's smothered by Francis there. Ball comes out. A quick kick. Mitchell weaves his magic, comes through. He puts Ben Doolan, who can't bend over. Swans still with the ball. This time Higgins round on the left foot. He ducks back, swings it onto his non-preferred right, puts it up in the air. McCartney comes across, knocks it through from behind. In Connell there, 1 against 3. Perhaps that ball should have gone to the top of the square.
Yes, well, he was under a fair bit of pressure though, then in the end, Higgins to get his kick away.
Gary Pert kicks in. Had a good duel tonight on Minton Connell, though Minton Connell has kicked 5. Brunton, gee, that was an ordinary sort of a hand pass to Kelly, who did well to pick it up. Back to Lewis and gets clear of Fraser. Only just chance for Holmes. Too far out to score. That kick, or is he? It bounces through for a goal. Sydney on the warpath.
Ralph, got a minute?
Yeah, sure. Let it fly, mate. Oh, sorry.
Huh?
Bad joke.
What does extinct mean?
It means we don't exist anymore. Well, we used to be just endangered.
Australia's animals are under threat. So to mark our 175th birthday, Westpac has released this special collection of wildlife medallions to raise money for the Worldwide Fund for Nature.
Dead.
They're available through any Westpac branch.
Branch. What I wouldn't give to be back in a branch.
Darren Holmes kicks his second goal for the season, and what a time it comes at for Sydney Swans. Saunders bursts off the edge of the square there and drives Collingwood into attack. They must find something now because the Swans are full of running. Scott Russell looking up there for Starcevic or Rocker. Off the ground went Brunton. Kelly and Mitchell in pursuit. Swans have got the numbers at the ball. Carroll works his way into position. But Mitchell ignores that and looks for John. A poor kick, however, and through comes McCartney. Well, he's paid impeding, a poor decision from the umpire. However, play goes on with Saunders. Chips that ball over to McGuan, who's been quiet in this turn. McGuan's got Starcevic all alone. How costly are those turnovers? And Starcevic will line up for possibly his 4th goal for the evening.
Well, it's very costly, Jared, as you said. Sydney Swans just turning over that ball. McCartney possibly a little bit lucky. He was caught red hot there by Dennis Carroll and a very good tackle.
Starcevic lays back on the kick, but it floats through for another goal. Collingwood strike back. They lead 12-9 to 10-8.
There's 4 goals to Craig Starcevic. And really a steadying goal. It's something that Collingwood really needed, because Sydney Swans have been pretty fired up here at the start of this second half, as we see Peter Dacos being taken from the ground. And that's a testimony to the fact that Dale Lewis has played a terrific game in defence. Bradrow back on the ground.
Back to the centre.
Waiting to pick him up.
Under 10 minutes, yes, Peter Dacos taken off. I have to say that's some sort of a sensation. And here's the man that did the job on him, Lewis. He's played a great game tonight. Lewis at left centre half back. Marking contest on centre wing. Lawson or Gray were his targets. Krasiska was there and saw it safely over the boundary line.
Yes, Pete. Well, Lee Matthews, he's not afraid to take the stars from the ground. Last week he took Tony Shaw from the ground against the Brisbane Bears and left him on the bench for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, Lee later made the point, though, that he had a busy time with state commitments, etc. So I guess in hindsight it was sensible.
Perhaps Dacos had a busy time last night.
Yes, looks like it, doesn't it?
Take nothing away from Lewis, however.
No, he's done a good job. Bounce. Same two ruckman, Monkhurst and John. Francis scoops it out. Richardson likewise. Lawson outnumbered. Ball slapped inboard. That'll be a free kick. Barry Mitchell, one of the workhorses.
Yes, they've been prepared to put their bodies in, Peter, haven't they? Head over the ball there, Barry Mitchell. He's really earned that free kick.
Well, I don't know whether he was told to play on. He decides to. Certainly runs his full distance. Marking contest on 50. Strooper gives it to Creswell, who fumbles initially. Snapshot is there. Great goal.
Nobody is more behind Mitsubishi's sponsorship of the National Basketball League than our dealers. And right now, they're getting into the spirit of things, offering unbeatable all-star deals on the entire Mitsubishi range of cars and light commercials. They're lean, they're mean, and right now they're keen. So see your participating Mitsubishi dealer now. He's waiting to play ball.
Peter Dacos looks on. Creswell kicking his second career goal, so I've shortchanged him. 74 to 81, and less than 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Francis puts the Magpies into attack.
Well, he took a bounce, he fumbled, but recovers well. He goes straight at goal. It looks pretty good. Good shepherd from Rocker. Great goal. Well, Nettlebeck was incensed. He thought he touched it, but not paid, however, and Collingwood now 13-9, the Swans 11-8.
Well, this has turned into a fantastic contest here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Tony Francis, equal to any rover playing the game of Australian rules football in the AFL competition, just breaking away, winning the ball from the centre square. And there's Nettlebeck saying, well, I did get a finger to that one, the umpire having none of that. And a good goal to Tony Francis, 45 metres on the run.
Excellent goal to Francis. The quick reply for the Magpies. 74 to 87. Again, the difference out to 13 points, but this is a great contest. Monkhurst, will he give it to Saunders? 3 Sydney Swans there. Kelly, well tackled by Saunders. The umpire will bounce it just off the centre square, or centre circle. Monkhurst and John. John with the gloves, not to the advantage of his side. McCartney, a quick kick out to the wing position. It's a foot race. And then the ball taken over the boundary line. Lewis and Fraser. Not really impressive stats for Lewis, but of course he was the man that minded Peter Dacos. John, Higgins, Creswell, Lawson. Lawson's got the speed. Look at him go. It's around Francisco. Is that downfield? Swans fans asking for it. McCartney close to the boundary line. He's content to see the ball over. Boundary throw in at left half forward flank. One of the young Lions in the Magpie lineup, Jason McCartney, looks to have a great future. Strooper up in front. Out the back is Gray. Oh, gets leg, did he? Umpire was only 3 feet from that and says no, play on. And Fraser will do that. Oh, look at Lawson go chasing him. But the gap was too great. Kicks down to half forward. Rocker takes the advantage of a spilled mark and goal.
Olympic Experience. 15 classical tracks on one triumphant album. Experience the excitement, the action, and the glory. With Aida, Bolero, Fanfare for the Common Man, and Ode to Joy. Experience the champions of music with Olympic Experience.
Mark to Holmes, Bernie, or was it play on?
Play on, definitely.
Big punch out of the centre of the ground there by Gareth John, using the gloves to effect. Cresswell off the ground. Doolan once again, perhaps impeded with a leg injury. Richardson dragged the ground by Higgins. Was that ball out of bounds? No, says the boundary umpire. Scott Russell runs under the ball. Terrific mark by Dale Lewis. And he'll pump this one 50 metres with the trusty left foot. Looking for Minton Connell, who's on the lead. Takes it to the front of the pack. In the gutter was Kelly. Kelly roves it well. Flicks it back to the voice, who was Mitchell's. And an easy free kick by Gary Pert is paid.
Caught the umpire. He caught the umpire there, Jared. We see this really hardly touched, and Gary Pert really staged for that one.
Well, if the sun was out, you could possibly say he had stroke, but not on that occasion. So the ball on the half-forward flank for Sydney Swans. They've done well in this early part of the quarter. Collingwood, with the last couple of goals, though, struck back. Higgins goes to ground. He's paid a free kick, however, for holding a man. Well, I thought he cleverly threw that ball out just before the impact of the tackle. Scott Russell on the mark. Good chip kick from Lewis. Well, Lewis attempted to play on, but he's been told he's got to go back over his mark. And perhaps Bernie Lewis has been moved up onto the ball.
Well, maybe Gary Buckenara feeling that Brad Rowe's not as much a danger as Peter Dacos, and rightly so.
Chip kick looking there for Doolan. A fine pass from Lewis. And Doolan now should shoot from about the same position he kicked the goal earlier in the quarter.
Well, Tony Shaw might be playing in the back pocket now, Jared, because Doolan definitely down on that forward line after injuring that left knee.
Yes, I see Kerrison on Mitchell. Doolan, 4 kicks, slews across the side of the goals. Strooper went to fly and has given a free kick away, going well before acceptances.
Well, that Jared just shows how much of a problem that Doolan has, because he is a natural left footer. No?
I don't think so.
I'm sure he's a left footer, Ben Doolan.
Well,
he took that shot at goal. He took that shot at goal with his right foot. If he's a right footer, he's a very ordinary right footer.
No, I'm pretty sure he's a right footer.
All right. Okay, we'll check that one.
It was an ordinary kick, let's put it that way. I think if he was a steeplechaser, they'll be putting up the screen. He doesn't look 100%, does he? Mick McGuire's hand pass is intercepted by Barry Mitchell. Mitchell's quick kick up to the forward pocket can't be marked. Gaither strong in defence for the Magpies. An errant bounce ultimately favours right. If he can pick it up, gets pushed in the back by Bay. There's nothing for it. Warwood was in there, Brunton, and the Swans able to take the ball over the boundary line in front of Shane Warwood for a throw-in. 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. It has been a pretty eventful one. It started out with a lot of pushing and shoving off the edge of the square. The best quarter of football tonight. Both sides going at it pretty solidly. Monkhurst and John. It's won by the Collingwood Blonde. Down to McGuan. Nearly gets leg. Would have been a free kick. He plays on. McGuan. Long kick up towards full forward. No mark taken from Rocker. Plenty of speed from Fraser. Excellent kick by the youngster. What a goal!
John Paul College is celebrating its 10th anniversary July 17 to 19, so this year's annual art festival will be bigger than ever. Enjoy over 8,000 pieces representing 400 artists, including Rick Everingham. View an exhibition of black and white photography shot in the Arctic wilderness, the prestigious QUT Art Collection, fashions from leading designers such as Daniel Lightfoot and Anthony Lee Dower. Mingle with art enthusiasts at the International Art Auction. The John Paul College Art Festival 92, Friday 17 to Sunday, July 19.
Ball back in the centre of the ground. Swans going forward now through Lawson. Poor handball looking for Brunton. And Kerrison, who's now on Mitchell, drives Collingwood further ahead. Carroll on the burst, leading Starcevich to the ball. And he goes straight down the middle of the ground. That's the way to go. Terrific mark. McCartney dropping back with courage, keeping his eye on the ball. Pert now feigns a handball, getting himself into a bit of trouble. What can they do with this? Well, good play, I thought, in the end by Gayfer. They were going nowhere fast there, the Pies. And Gayfer throws it through for a behind. Gary Pert, perhaps he'll learn from that one, ducking back into trouble. Big kick down the centre of the ground, however. McCartney came over the back. Gareth John incensed. He believes it was his free kick. Monkhurst will take it.
Kicks out to centre wing, and Scotty Russell. Now the South Australian goes Collingwood. Likes a goal, 53 metres out. That's a ripper kick. Oh, it just touched right on the line. All but home. A fingernail in it.
There's Holmes coming over the top there. I'm thinking that's Boyle.
Well, he reckons he touched the last one too, or one of them down there.
Well, Nettlebeck was a player that thought he touched the last one, Pete.
So 1 out of 2. Under 2 minutes left in the third term. Collingwood answering the challenge, thrown out by Sydney. They've bolted away again. Over 4 goals in it now. Starcevich. Ball knocked down to Mitchell. Looking for options, not too many. Kicks into the man on the mark. Want to do the tidying up work here before three-quarter time. Bays' kick looks for Higgins. The ball knocked out of his arms and out of bounds on the centre wing. Quite impressive stats for Leon Higgins. 13 kicks. It's going to be McCartney who does the ruck work, does it on his own. And frisks the ball out of bounds, gaining about 5 metres for the Magpie side. Going for the Interstate Grand Slam. Played at Carrara last Saturday night. The Swans, of course, played Interstate as well last week over at Subiaco and got rolled. Hand pass comes out of the pack. Away they go again. Tony Francis. Busy. Mark and lead. Brad Rowe. Clock ticking down to three-quarter time. 3/4 of a minute left. Too far out to score. A kick and a bit from goal there. Puts the ball high. Knocked away from Rocker. Lawson looks for a hand pass. Hand passes it back into trouble. Carroll over the top. And Bays should be able to get them out of danger momentarily, perhaps. Krasiska looks for Tony Short. 20 seconds remaining. A mark here. The Magpies need. They won't get it. And the mark is taken in the last line of defence by Angove.
13 seconds left on the shot clock. Angove drives Sydney forward, but McCarthy, who's playing probably his best game for Collingwood, takes another great mark. Jason McCartney won't take his kick as the siren goes for three-quarter time. Collingwood have a 25-point lead. They lead 15-10 to 11-9.
There's only 2 things that Danny Clark wants in the world: a Jaguar motor car and a beautiful, vivacious girl, Joanna Johnson.
Well, I pick up my new car.
The internationally acclaimed award winner.
You're not buying a car, you're buying a piece of motoring history.
A world premiere.
He's taking it quite badly.
With the award-winning Ben Mendelsohn, Claudia Carvin and Steve Bisley, Optus presents the box office smash, The Big Steal, 8:30 Sunday on 7.
It's a Berber bonanza at Solomon's, and this luxurious Puna wool Berber is an absolute bargain.
Yes, Solomon's price for this sensational heavy-duty pure wool carpet is now only $75 a metre. There's more. This brand new level loop wool blend Berber is just $65 a metre. And this Easy Care Berber is a super budget beater at a mere $55 a metre.
And at Solomon's, you can buy now and pay in October. Really?
Wherever you're home, we're as close as the phone. Shop at home with Solomon's.
Roger David's once-a-year winter sale is now on. Double-breasted suits are from only $180. And when you buy a suit worth $249 or more like these, you get 3 business shirts worth $90 absolutely free. Sports coats from $130. Buy a sports coat worth $159 or more and get a plot shirt absolutely free. And trousers, just $50, or buy 2 pairs for $79. Roger David's once-a-year winter sale. It's on now, so don't miss out.
Install a ream for the hoist of hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on.
Steady, hot and strong.
When your old heat is dead and gone, install a ream, install a ream, install a ream.
Always the last to know how you're feeling, the last to know.
With the rock critics already raving, Scotland's Delamitri deliver one of the best albums of the year. Change Everything, out now.
So the final quarter from the Sydney Cricket Ground, Collingwood leading by 25 points in this round 18 encounter. And led by 29 at half-time. Chris Siska gets buried in the tackle. Francis from Shaw. And Tony Francis booting up towards left half forward. Carroll knocks the ball clear. Bayes takes the hand pass from Holmes. And the numbers again favouring Collingwood. Gavin Krasiska taking the good mark. It was over the top of Strooper. Krasiska left half-back flank for the Magpies. The pack of players set themselves. Bayes was the one to knock it towards the boundary line. Kerrison's hand pass is effective. Starcevic gets unloaded. And Kerrison again applying the tackle on Dennis Carroll, but the ball over the boundary line in the meantime. We'll see it thrown in between wing and left half forward. Lunkhurst had the honours early. Creswell over to Brunton. Up to midfield. Fraser and Lawson race forward. Russell gets there first. And Lawson has the chance, aided by a couple of good shepherds, to pick the ball up. Lawson kicks down towards half forward, and once again, same man in the road, Gavin Krasiska takes the good mark. Krasiska kicks towards centre wing. The leader's on out there, and the effective Monkhurst gives the hand pass away brilliantly. Or Pert tried to bounce it. Lawson got taken high. Might have been a free kick. Didn't matter anyway. Lawson gets his kick, but under pressure has put it out of bounds on the full. In fact, probably there wasn't that much pressure there. He should have done better with that.
Well, a little optimistic there from Gary Pert trying to bounce the ball. The conditions probably starting to get a little bit greasy down there at ground level.
Maybe Gary Ablett could have gone away with this.
He'll kick it.
But not too many. Krasiska to take the free.
As he drives Collingwood into attack, Dennis Carroll pushed off the ball. Kelly gets it to Bayes. He scoops that ball over the boundary line. Could have been construed as a throw, but I think the fist was clenched. And on centre wing, a throw-in. Monkhurst and Gareth John. John, who replaced Tunbridge in the selected side. Creswell. He's on Tony Shaw at the present time. He drives it forward. At the back of the pack was Mitton Connell. Will he pay the mark? He does. Gary Pert not saying much, so perhaps it was just good use of the body.
Yes, he's been good tonight again, Simon Mitton Connell. He did kick 7 goals here up against class opposition in Chris Langford. And now against one of the better fullbacks in the competition, Gary Pert. Simon Mitton Connell, he's kicked 5 goals straight, coming in for his 6th goal from about 45 metres.
This is to keep the Swans in touch for his 6th goal. Looks good off the boot. Just pushed it wide, however, for one behind. So his first blemish for the night. He's now kicked 5-1. Sydney trail by 4 straight goals.
Gary Pert to kick in. Favours the grandstand side, commentary box side. And McCartney playing a very good game. Is at the centre half back position. Kicks to half forward. Carroll with the big fist. Creswell again. Swans rookie. Ball bounces better for Gaffer. Oh, gee, that was close to a throw. Richardson did well to pick it up and then gets pushed in the back. Surely a free kick. Can't argue with that. And Richardson just up from the back pocket to take the free. Playing his 50th game tonight too, incidentally. So said the Collingwood banner before the game. Richardson from the left back pocket. Big pack of players. Monkhurst has to go up one hand and nearly took the grab too. Kerrison, who started on the bench tonight for Collingwood, kicks up towards Holmes. He kicked a spectacular goal earlier, one that bounced through. Mitchell maybe can make something out of nothing. No, he couldn't. And the Magpies do clear the ball. Kick coming from Gary Pert up towards midfield. Holmes again pushes the ball out of the pack. Scoop further forward again. Strooper bumped off it. Gaffer at the bottom of it. Assistance from Monkhurst. And it'll be a bounce on the centre wing position when they finally get up. Kelly, the last man there. Monkhurst over the head of John. Francis got a knee to it rather than a boot. And Higgins slaps it over the boundary line for Sydney, a throw-in.
There's Dennis Carroll playing across half-back. Mooney playing centre-half forward now on McCartney in this final term.
Brunton limping too.
Throw-in is won by Monkhurst, who took the front spot, but Higgins on the right foot kicks it forward. And Strooper takes, well, what will be paid a mark. I think on the second bite it may have hit the ground, but...
Well, a sensational effort from Strooper. He's been pretty quiet tonight up against a very good defender in Mick Gaffer. Strooper has kicked 34 goals, the same number of goals as Simon Minton-Connell has kicked.
Well, he's done well. He's come round the boundary line to open up the angle. As you see, using the drop punt. But once again, he's pushed it to the right and will be paid out on the full. Didn't look confident at all, Bernie, going for that goal.
Well, as you said, Jared, he did open up the goal face slightly, but then he ran towards that point post, so really didn't run directly in that direct line as we know players should when kicking at goal.
Another scalp to the human blanket, it looks. Gaffer done a terrific job on Strooper. Once again, both players on screen. McCartney comes over the top. The mark will be paid to the big fellow in Monkhurst. There's John, wrestles.
50 metres.
And finally 50 metres. Well, he was warned by the umpire. And finally now will pay the price. And this, on this short ground, is just one of the reasons I believe the 50-metre penalty never fits the crime. Brings him to almost within goal-kicking distance.
Yeah, well, you're right there. You just cannot afford to give 50 metres away on this ground. He'll be kicking from about 60 metres out.
Well, he chips it in. Using the body there was Big Rocco. Dacos with a bit of magic off the ground, but it doesn't go through for a goal. Lawson, poor kick. Disastrous kick. Hit the wrong point of the ball, and it went like a banana over the boundary line.
Well, it's always a dangerous practice here to keep the ball high off the boot when kicking, certainly around the corner from the back line. The experienced players try to ground the ball, just dribble it out.
Scott Russell has a fly at the goals. It bent back at the end. It's still on the wrong side of the goal post. They're only behind. So a bit of a lull in play here. Collingwood lead 15-11. Sydney 11-10. Something must break now.
25 points the difference. That's what it was at three-quarter time. Craig Nettlebeck without the headband this year. Marking contest. Holmes in front was the one that nearly brought it down. Fraser applies a tackle. Umpire Dennis Rich will bounce it. So Collingwood quite content to go on the way they're going at the moment. They have the score on the board, 4 goals plus. Sydney needs to draw level. Lawson, a grab and a fumble. Now another possession. Out to the edge of the square. Carroll running with the fight of the ball. Leaves it for his teammate down there, and in the end that proved to be the Swans' undoing. Francisca able to take advantage of that situation. A little chip shot, perhaps intended for Kerrison. Rowe goes backwards again to Francisca, who's had a good final quarter, but Mark Bayes takes the mark at centre half back. A little bit short of that position. Bayes out wide. Creswell, Nettlebeck. 17.5 minutes left of this match. Marking contest at midfield. McGuan, quick hand pass on the end of it. Francis played another tremendous game tonight. The little South Australian up towards half forward. 1-on-1 marking contest again. Kerrison takes the crumbs well. Gives it back to Francis, chips it in short. Starcevic, who's been elusive. They're playing keepings off at the moment, aren't they? Kerrison again. Oh, good mark, Scotty Russell. He marks right on 50.
Not intended for him, Peter.
I don't think so.
Intended for Peter Dacos on the lead.
He's having one of those nights.
Well, Dakes is having a quiet night, but I think we'll forgive him.
There's a pass again, and you see Dacos just coming into the picture there. Scotty Russell chipping in and having this shot at goal from maybe just inside the 50-metre line.
Can kick the ball long, does so. Goal umpire hasn't moved. It's a goal.
These days, you have to be careful where you take your car to be serviced. Otherwise, you could end up dealing with people you don't know. People you can't trust. But here at BP Car Care, you get fixed price servicing with a nationwide guarantee. Every time your local BP Car Care man does a job, he puts his name on the line. So if you want real car care, always look for the BP Car Care sign.
BP, on the move.
9 individual goal kickers now for Collingwood. Scott Russell getting his first on the board. Gareth John gets the tap to Kelly. Kick not that effective, however. Punch there was from Richardson. Francis in pursuit. Good pace, Francis. With strength, breaks through, gets his handball. Here comes another speedster in Lawson. Gets it as far as that player there for Sydney Swans in Brunton. Mitchell now back to Kelly. Kelly goes long, the empty goal square. Could it roll through? No, it's wide of the goal post. And Saunders sees it over the goal line. So Sydney Swans need goals, not points. Pert kicks it wide. Under pressure there is Richardson. And throw-in will take place in the half-forward flank for the Sydney Swans. They need goals now, the Swans. Being competitive, that's what we asked for, but close seconds are no value on the ladder. They need a win to get their confidence back. Mitchell playing with the ball, finally gets the free kick. Impeded there by Kerrison.
Barry Mitchell, Swans stalwart. Kick number 15 coming up. And possession number 24. And the forward line at the moment rather statuesque, not too much on offer. And that's why he's taking a bit of time. Too much time, one would suggest. Getting plenty of advice from the crowd. Now finally picks out an option. Well, it didn't turn out to be a good one. Creswell, quick hand pass to Brunton. Kick into the pocket. And Saunders might have got a fingernail to that. It's out of bounds. Sydney's left forward pocket, a boundary throw into Fowler. Simon Minton-Connell has kicked 5 goals, 1 tonight. And Eddie Hillgrove there. Team manager as Dacos goes off, so twice in one night. Pete's been taken off.
Yes, and Graham Wright back on.
Snapshot by Stroop, but was it? It's a goal. So Sydney's 12-11 to 16-11. They're still in their pitching.
Yes, well, they certainly, it's been a much improved effort tonight as we see Strooper take that one out of the ruck in the forward pocket, get it to his left boot very quickly, and Strooper just edges ahead once again of Simon Minton-Connell as the leading Sydney Swans goal kicker for 1992.
Back in the centre. Good goal of the Swans. Mitchell burrowing in. Through comes Lewis. Haven't seen much of him this quarter. Kicks it long. Strooper once again brings the ball to ground. Minton-Connell's beaten for it by Richardson. Saunders taps the ball forward, but will be paid a free kick for holding the man. Saunders onto the left foot. Monkhurst by himself. That won't please Buckenara. He wants a one-on-one contest. Gives it to Wright. Wright's dragged down from behind. Excellent play from the Swans. In Engo, but very quick player. Kerrison, fresh air. And a ball up will take place. Almost centre wing.
Sure, it's been a bit of a dirty night again for Graham Wright too. He's been on
a couple of times,
off the bench. He just replaced Peter Dacos. He spent a fair bit of time bench warming tonight.
He was an important player for Collingwood. We saw last year when he was injured, the Pies go down the ladder. He has had a fairly good season this year. I guess he's being pinpointed and tagged a lot more now. Mitchell drives them forward. Coming out is McCartney, who took it on the half volley. No mark paid. Speedy Gonzalez takes it. Lawson gets it to Kelly. Kelly goes wide, looking once again for Strooper, and Strooper charges off. He's got the goals in his sights. Steadies. This time he's kicked it.
Nobody is more behind Mitsubishi's sponsorship of the National Basketball League than our dealers. And right now, they're getting into the spirit of things, offering unbeatable all-star deals on the entire Mitsubishi range of cars and light commercials. They're lean, they're mean, and right now they're keen. So see your participating Mitsubishi dealer now. He's waiting to play ball.
3 goals the difference, and Collingwood go into attack now. So the Sydney Swans have done well to get back into this match. Bays' kick is out towards the centre wing position. Mooney turns on a Thrupney bit, centres it well, and Lewis takes the mark. 13 minutes left. So if Sydney's good enough, they can get up to win. Pert punches away from Minton Connell. Monkhurst, good hand pass. Gafer onto Francis. Again, Collingwood rebound. And they've done that tonight whenever Sydney is threatened. Up to Starcevic. Good tackle by Bays. The ball spills free on centre wing. Chance for Sydney to go forward again. The ball tapped along the ground, picked up by Kelly, who was looking back. I think they thought there might have been a free kick. And Higgins is marked too far out to score, possibly, with the left footer. He wants to get it moving quickly if he can. Minton Connell makes a lead. He's decided to ignore it. He's put it long into the square. High flyers needed. Sydney hasn't got anybody. Doolan punches. Saunders. And does that indicate to us that Doolan is not 100% fit?
He's in a lot of strife, Pete. He just couldn't chase there.
Fraser is quick. Fraser kicks to half forward. One-on-one deal. Creswell. Rowe with Holmes. Long hand pass. McGuan goes at goal. And has he got it? I think he has. Yes, sir. Vic McGuan gets his first, and Collingwood again takes some breathing space. They lead by 4 goals.
They just seem to have the class, the Pies, just to that steadying goal, as we see this in replay from Saunders. They were able to rebound there when Doolan had the ball. He's really struggling with that injury to the left knee. He couldn't really do much with it once he gained possession, and then he couldn't apply the tackle because he couldn't chase. So Collingwood able to get it from one end of the ground to the other very quickly.
Well, Struper's in the ruck. The Swans. Gareth John is limping badly. Angove kicks the ball to nowhere. Will probably beat all players over the boundary line.
If you've got your jumper, you could probably get a game.
No thanks at the moment. Another player we haven't seen much of tonight is Lehman, who was benched early in the piece, yet to return.
He wouldn't pass the fat test now, Pete.
Thanks, Bernie. Throw in on centre wing. Struper in ruck against Monkhurst. Monkhurst does it easily. Scott Russell takes one high.
Too high.
Well, it shouldn't be a free kick down the ground because it was at the impact of the kick. Good decision, umpire Harvey.
And another player down. It looks like Francisco with maybe an arm injury. Oh, he's okay.
Well, Troy Gray and Tony Francis are remonstrating in the middle. Russell kicks it to Francisco. Well, his arm looks all right now. Goes long, looking for McGuan at the back. McGuan and Brunton. Well, the ball's kept in play, or is it? No, says the umpire. And he'll take it up for a throw in deep in Collingwood's forward line. And Cresswell, a new player versus one of the oldest in Tony Shaw. I wonder if Tony's given him a lesson in verbal skills tonight. Bays for the ruck against Starcevic. Players dive on the ball. Brunton brings it out. Francis will try to keep this in, but the slippery ball just eludes him and over the boundary line.
Don't think Tony Shaw makes any exceptions, does he?
No, I think he wouldn't be making any exception on that occasion.
Got a pretty good teacher, I think, and his brother too. He could hand it out.
It was Ray. Bays. Starcevic. Brought to ground. Important ball to win. That's almost in the back. Should be. It is.
The free kick will be taken there by Richardson. Alan Richardson on the forward line.
And on the boundary line. Hasn't scored a goal tonight. But his teammates have.
Hasn't scored a goal for the season, Pete.
13 kicks tonight, though. So position number 20 coming up. And Gavin Francisco perhaps indicating an option. Not whether he's going to ignore it. Runs around. And is missed completely. A chance for Sydney to scoop it away, which they do. And on the run is Mark Bayes. Good pass. And Sydney finally getting some run. Can make something out of this. Lawson's kick. Minton Connell and Perth. He's broken the tackle. Strooper kick one from there. Minton Connell can't. Much to the delight of the Magpie supporters behind the goal. And after kicking 5 goals straight, he's now managed 5 goals too.
That's why they did all the hard work there, Simon Minton Connell. He broke away very well from Gary Pert. And then just couldn't finish it off. But it's been a good performance from Simon Minton Connell, full forward tonight.
Yes, he's done better than his opposite number at the Collingwood end in Severio Rocker. He played a good game up on the Gold Coast. Monkhurst. Richardson gets his own hand pass. Good smother by Higgins. Picked up by Wright. Ball spills free. Tackle and tackled well by Kelly. But it's going to be a Collingwood free kick.
Yes, the umpire, I think he was right on that occasion, Jared. He certainly rode right into the ground.
Gavin Krasiska. Krasiska at left centre wing, as I said earlier, has had a good last quarter. Starcevic nearly took the mark. Had a couple of bites at it, wasn't paid. Angove overruns it. Picked up by Wright, who gets tackled pretty smartly. And as a result, the ball spills free out of the centre wing. And Kerrison might have pushed his opponent in the back. And that's to the delight of the Sydney Swans fans. It will be a Sydney free kick to be taken by Barry Mitchell.
He did that well, Barry Mitchell. He realised he was about to be tackled, didn't take possession.
On the Troy Gray, who kicks to half forward. Lewis and Pert. Back to Gray again. Good hand pass. Strooper. You'll have to be quick because Fraser has intended that for Creswell, who gets grabbed, not in possession. Umpire says play on. Lawson overruns it. Back to Strooper once more. Lewis in trouble and fumbled at the crucial moment. Tackled by